Fairhope is a small, God-forsaken town in Alabama, with wooden houses, gossiping neighbors, and a heat that makes even the devil think twice before passing through. My name is Emily. I'm 22 years old. I live with my parents. And I swear by everything holy or unholy that what I'm about to tell you really happened. It was a strangely cold morning for that time of year. I got up early, grabbed the broom, and left the house still half asleep. I was about to start sweeping the sidewalk when I noticed something wrong. There was a circle of salt, big, meticulously drawn, as if it had been done with a ruler, compass, and a lot of intention. A perfect circle, right in the middle of the sidewalk in front of our house. I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was weird. I grabbed the broom and started sweeping. That's when old Mrs. Crawley, our crazy neighbor, appeared out of nowhere. She walked with her wooden cane and a bunch of little medals hanging around her neck. I've always been afraid of that woman, to be honest. "Emily, what are you doing, girl?" she shouted, her eyes wide. "I'm sweeping," I replied, confused. "You've scattered evil. That salt wasn't put there by chance." "What do you mean? That's a containment seal, honey. And now that you've undone it, whatever was trapped is loose." My mother heard the shouting and came out of the house. When she saw old Mrs. Crawley talking about witchcraft, she did what she always does, laughed loudly. "Oh, for the love of God, Crawley, stop with this nonsense," my mother said, laughing and lighting a cigarette. "It's just salt. Someone must have spilled it accidentally." "You'll regret this," said Mrs. Crawley, pointing her bony finger at us. "You've released something, and there's no blessing that can hold back what's coming." She left, muttering, as always. My mother shook her head and went back inside. I finished sweeping, feeling a little uncomfortable, but pretending everything was fine. But it wasn't. That night, I slept restlessly, and, the next morning, I woke up to a scream coming from my parents' room. I ran to them. My mother was pale, kneeling beside the bed, looking at my father's leg, and I almost threw up when I saw it. There was a hole in the middle of his right calf. A living hole, throbbing, filled with a dark, fetid liquid. And coming out of it, worms. Yes, worms. What is that?" I asked, in shock. I don't know," my father stammered. "There was nothing there last night, I swear." The worms kept coming out. White, moist, writhing as if they had been alive inside him for a long time. We didn't know what to do. My mother started pulling them out with paper towels, but they never stopped. It was like there was a nest inside his flesh. We got the car and rushed to the nearest hospital, and that's when everything got even weirder. At the hospital, doctors came in and out of the room with looks of terror and confusion. No one knew what was happening to my father. They did tests. They gave him antibiotics. They gave him morphine, but the worms didn't stop. The wounds seemed to grow bigger every day, and the smell, Jesus, it was living death. My mother and I took turns staying at the hospital. During the day, she took care of him. At night, it was my turn. I slept on a hard sofa, listening to his moans of pain, smelling the stench of rotting flesh filling the room. The doctors even said that the leg needed to be amputated, and quickly. On the 12th day he was in the hospital, I was on my shift when he woke me up with a different moan. "Emily, I'm here, Dad. What's wrong?" He was crying, sweating. His forehead was cold. His eyes were sunken with dark circles that seemed to dig all the way to his brain. "I'm burning up inside. Help me. It's burning. It's burning everything." I ran down the corridors until I found a doctor. He came running, pulled back the sheet, and, my God, the flesh of his leg had disappeared. The rotten skin had simply fallen apart. The bone was exposed. The doctor just muttered, "We need to amputate now." But there was a problem. The surgery needed legal authorization, and my mother wasn't there. She had disappeared that day. Desperate, I called her once, twice, 10 times. Nothing. I had to make a decision. I'll sign. I'll take responsibility. Get that thing off his body before he dies. I signed the papers, crying. I watched my father being taken on a gurney to the operating room. I stayed in the waiting room with my eyes fixed on an invisible point on the wall, thinking about everything. About the circle of salt. About Mrs. Crawley's warning. About the absurd possibility that it was real. Hours later, the surgery was over. The doctor came to me. "He's going to live, but we lost the leg." I just thanked him, my throat dry. And at that moment, my mother appeared, made up, smelling good, with a beer in her hand. "What happened here?" I stared at her. I didn't answer. I just walked away towards my father's room. Because if I said one word, I was going to scream. A few days later, we went home. My father, now with a prosthesis, spent his days watching TV. He was weaker, quieter, but alive, and that was enough for me. Until, one morning, I went to call him for breakfast, and the nightmare started again. "Dad, get up. Are you okay?" He could barely move. He was shaking, sweating. I pulled back the sheet carefully, and the other leg was the same. Another wound, another hole, and from inside, worms again. I lost my breath. I fell to my knees on the floor. No, this can't be happening again. My mother, nowhere to be seen. Not in the room, not in the kitchen, but I knew exactly where she was. I got the car and went straight to the garage on the corner of our street. The garage of that Delano, the neighborhood mechanic. I had already heard rumors, but I needed to see it with my own eyes. I went in without knocking, and I saw it. The two of them. My mother, naked, sitting on the hood of a car, with that sweaty old man between her legs, laughing, moaning. He was the reason. He and her. I ran out, choking with disgust, rage, and hatred. I went back home and remembered something. Mrs. Crawley's words. The salt was a seal. Something was contained. Now it's loose. And then I remembered what the nurse at the hospital had told me once. "Emily, when medicine doesn't explain, you need to look at the side that no one looks at." So I looked into the darkness. Mother Elvira lived on the outskirts of Mobile, in a shack hidden among old trees that seemed to watch every step I took. When I knocked on the door, she opened it herself. Thin, wrinkled, her skin like burnt wood, a colorful scarf covering her hair and a huge cigar stuck between her teeth. She looked at me and said nothing. She just opened the door wider. "I'm Emily. I brought my father. He's dying. But it's because of witchcraft." "I know it is." She just nodded. "Leave him there, in the chair. And come here, girl. I want to talk to you." I entered the dark room, full of smoke and the smell of burning herbs. An altar with black candles and a skull. Photos of people who, maybe, weren't even alive anymore. "Tell me everything," I told her. From the circle of salt to the vase with the doll. I talked about Delano, about my mother's betrayal, about my father's leg, about the second wound, about the pain. Mother Elvira nodded the whole time, as if she already knew before I opened my mouth. "This is cemetery dirt, girl. This binding was made to kill, and made by someone who shares blood with you. My mother, your mother, and that Delano. They wanted to get your father out of the way. They just didn't count on you breaking the seal, I cried. Not out of fear, out of anger. Can you help him? I can, but there's a price. I'll pay it. She approached, touched her finger to my chest. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about a soul. I was silent. To save your father, the energy has to be returned. The curse redirected. That means whoever did it will pay. Both of them, and he'll never know it was my mother. He'll dream, he'll feel it, but he won't know. I closed my eyes. Do it. The ritual was frightening. Mother Elvira tore the doll, took out my father's photo, threw everything on an iron plate. She put gasoline, lit a fire. She threw herbs, stones, dry leaves. She sang in a language I didn't understand. In the middle of the ritual, she threw a tarot card into the fire. It was the lover's card. 2 naked bodies touching each other. She looked at me. The reason for the death is here. Forbidden love. Dirty love. When the fire went out, she made a paste with crushed herbs and a thick, dark liquid. We went back to my father. He was pale. The wound was open. His skin was hot. She spread the paste on his leg, while murmuring words that seemed to come from another world. I held his hand, feeling the cold sweat dripping from his fingers. In the end, she cleaned his body with dry branches and raw eggs. When she finished, he fainted. Now he sleeps, and the evil will come out little by little. She looked me in the eyes, seriously, but you need to be prepared, because the price is coming, and it's coming fast. In the following days, my father began to improve. The wounds dried up. The pain went away. He started walking again with crutches, laughing slowly, looking at the sky as if he was seeing the world for the first time. But, on the other side, hell opened up. Delano was found dead inside his own garage. Apparently a natural death. But his body was all twisted, with his eyes popped out, as if he had screamed until he died. And my mother, she started to wither away. Her skin was peeling. Her nails were falling off. Her hair turned into clumps on the pillow. She said she heard voices at night. She said that Delano was coming to get her. 15 days later, she called me to her room. Her breathing was weak. Her eyes were sunken. Emily, I need to confess. I knelt beside the bed. She continued, Delano was your biological father. We did the spell to take Ulysses out of the picture. I just wanted to be happy again, but now I'm dying. I was silent for a moment. I just stared at her, and then I put the pillow on her face. I pressed down with all the strength in my body. You've made my father suffer too much. You've made me suffer too much. I pressed down until her body stopped moving, until the room was silent, and then I got up, without crying, without looking back. Today, my father lives with me in another city. He never knew the truth, and he never will, but I know. And every night, when I look in the mirror, sometimes I think there's something behind me, something that came out of Mother Elvira's smoke, something that has attached itself. Maybe the price hasn't been paid in full yet, but until then, I wait, waiting for the next sign. Yes, this story is real. I changed names and locations to protect my father. And if you think salt on the sidewalk is just superstition, think twice before you sweep. Evil has rules, and it's us who insist on breaking them.